Many of you may wonder, Chris, how do you decide what whiskey to keep and what whiskey to get rid of? You know, I'm sent all these different whiskeys to do reviews, and that's not a flex. It's actually inconvenient because I'd rather have a few whiskeys that I really like. That just sounded way out of touch, so I'm sorry. But you might wonder, how do I decide which ones to get rid of? There's only so much shelf space to go around. And the answer is, I have no idea. I go based on vibes. I look around on the shelf and I just grab them and then I give them away to friends, things like that. So I've decided to start a new series because it's getting a little out of hand on the shelf space. It's just taking up too much space and I can't keep it organized and I lose track of what's what. And also there's this other aspect to it where I don't like showing how much whiskey I have all the time, which I've been doing lately. It helps video performance, but then I kind of feel guilty because I'm like, I don't want people to like aim for this as a goal. Like it's a nice credential to be like, I know what I'm talking about. I've tasted everything back here behind me. But then it's also kind of like, ooh, but I don't want other people to try to own this much whiskey because it's like it'll go bad and the corks get dry out and there's all these inconvenient things. Once again, maybe I'm sounding super out of touch right now. I hope not, but the reason I say all of that is to say, I want to start up a new podcast series, like a new, every once in a while type episode, where I'm going to walk through a few bottles, taste them, and decide whether or not I'm going to keep them. And the thought here is there's so many bottles that kind of fly under the radar. I taste them. I do my reviews that I do on Patreon. So every single bottle that I'm sent for review, you might be like, what are you talking about? I don't see you reviewing very much at all. Every single bottle that I'm sent for a review, I do a review for the Whiskey Noobs crew on Patreon. So I do a review of it, I taste it, and then I post a photo to my story to let everybody know that I did a review of it. And that's the extent for a lot of bottles, and I forget about them. And I've sensed if I haven't talked about them much since I did that maybe it's time to move on. Maybe it's time to give it away to some friends. So what I did today is I went through and I picked out four bottles that I think maybe I'll keep it, maybe I won't. I really need to go through and do another tasting of it. And I figure at the very least, if I get rid of it, that just means that it's getting one last bit of airtime, one little bit of PR, one more review, so that you guys can decide whether or not you want to go out and buy it. The reason, and the thing I want to get very clear is, I'm not getting rid of any of these because they're bad, necessarily. I'm just going to be totally transparent. I do like 1 to 3 reviews every week, I would say, on the Whiskey Noobs crew, and I'm just going to keep the best of the best because I don't have enough space to keep literally everything. Or I'll keep some things that maybe aren't the best of the best, especially in the budget category, if I think it's really good for that price, because then I'll talk about it and then I'll be like, hey, here's some budget stuff, which I'm really trying to ramp up my budget content in this coming year. I feel like I lost touch with that a little bit and I miss it. And so hopefully there'll be more budget content. So hopefully that wasn't too scatterbrained of an intro, but we're gonna taste 4 different whiskeys today and see if I want to keep them on my shelf or not. And I'm gonna kind of walk through my logic as to why I may or may not keep it on my shelf. I'm gonna get a drink of water and we'll introduce our first one. Whiskey number 1 that we're walking through today is Barrell Bourbon, batch number 37. Now, if you know me, and if you've been following along for a while, I really enjoy Barrell, and I really enjoy their whiskey. Their plain bourbon releases tend to be my least favorite, but more importantly, I have a bunch of their plain bourbon releases. And so I don't remember which batches I like the most or like the least, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to taste each one. Probably not all in this episode. Definitely not all in this episode. But I'm going to taste number 37 right now, and we're going to decide, is this better than most of the bourbons that I have on my shelf? Should I replace something else on my shelf with this and then boot something else? We're going to find out. So this is batch number 37, which I want to say was their batch from 2025, but I could be wrong about that. I don't know if it even says on here. But it's 78% corn, 18% rye, 4% malted barley. And like I said, oh yeah, here it's a blend of a bunch of different bourbon whiskeys. 10-year Kentucky bourbon, 8, 11, and 12-year Indiana bourbon, 13, 14, and 15-year Tennessee bourbon. And I really like the finished stuff that Barrell does and the wacky experience experiments that they try. I know Tale of Two Islands got some mixed reviews from people, or at least from people that I follow, but I really liked it. I thought, this is so cool. This is such a neat idea, and it's got a pretty cool, interesting flavor. It's nothing mind-blowing, but it's good. I love that. I love seagrass, obviously. I've had their ice wine finish was different and cool, and I just like those types of projects. Whereas plain bourbon, I'm like, maybe I'll keep it, maybe I won't. We're going to find out with this tasting right here. So let me dive in, give you a quick gut reaction, and then we're going to decide thumbs up, thumbs down. Darn, well, I think on the first sip I knew that I was not getting rid of this. I must have been mistaken about which batch I wasn't too huge of a fan of. So just to give it a quick review, I'm not getting rid of this. I really, really like this. On the nose, immediately sweet tarts, sweet candies, some nice oak, a little bit of a brown sugar type sweetness. The palate, full-bodied, brown sugar, a little bit of cracked pepper, definitely caramel, definitely some dried fruit, just coated my whole palate. Very rich and flavorful and way better than I thought it was. I had to have it mixed up with a different. There was a batch that I thought was too light and like had the black pepper but didn't have the deep sweetness. So far, this has the deep sweetness. I'm going to dive in a little bit more. But this is why I wanted to do this episode. Maybe I'm rediscovering some stuff that I should have paid more attention to. I think I really like this. I'm going to taste it one more time. Yeah, that is really delicious. I lost sight of that for a while. Wow. Well, we just rediscovered something that I really enjoy. So Barrell, batch number 37, you get to stick around. You are quite tasty. You can taste that old whiskey. Wow. That was really good. Well, I am making a vow. One of the 4 that I taste today, I have to get rid of because I have to get rid of something. So, keeping this one. Okay, next up we've got Never Say Die Rye Whiskey. This is a Kentucky straight rye whiskey, and if I'm not mistaken, they age it on the ocean. They ship it over to like England and back. And Kentucky Providence English character, distilled in Kentucky. Bottled by NSD Spirits Limited, United Kingdom. So, maybe they just ship it over to England and bottle it. I don't really know. But what I know is I remember liking the rye more than I liked the bourbon that I tried from them. But I don't remember how much I liked the rye. Am I going to keep this and get rid of a different rye on my shelf? Let's find out. On the nose, it's immediately herbal and sweet, and a little bit perfumey, a little bit floral. Let's dive into the palate. All right, listen, this is good. This is a good rye whiskey. This is better than a lot of the lower shelf rye whiskeys that I've had. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But I think for me personally, it's a little bit more herbal than I go for with my palate. I like my rye whiskey to either be not very herbal, like lean into the oak region, or super herbal, like it's just an herbal spice rye whiskey. This is kind of in the middle. I'm getting a little bit of oakiness. I'm getting a little bit of herbaceousness. I would really enjoy this. Like if I had bought this bottle, I would drink this all the way till it was gone. But considering it's competing for shelf space with like I've got Pursuit's Triple Mash Rye on there, I've got Sagamore Double Oaked, things like that, I don't think I'm going to keep it. I think this is a good one to give away to some friends because it's enjoyable and I think people are going to like it. Whoever gets it's going to like it. But I just don't see myself talking about it too much or drinking it for pleasure too much compared to the other stuff that I have. Once again, if I liked the oak and the herbaceousness at the same time, this might be one that I would keep. But I've got to narrow things down. So I think this is one of the ones. One last shout out to them though, Never Say Die. I really, one of the things I wanted to say about this brand is I would like to try more of their stuff moving forward. I only got to try this and their bourbon, and I suspect that it's only going to get better as time goes on. I think it's a cool idea. I like that they're doing the shipping across the ocean, which sometimes can be a gimmick, sometimes it really works. We've seen different aging on boats all the time in different places, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I'll be interested to see what they come out with in the future. For me right now, I just don't think this is in my specific palate enough. This is the type of rye that I don't find myself reaching for super often. So, fantastic bottle. I'm going to give this away to a friend, and I think they're going to be very pleased with it. But I don't think I'm going to keep it on my personal shelf anymore. I don't know if you've noticed, this is hard for me. This is like, I don't know. I hope this episode doesn't come across seeming like, lack of a better term, douchey. Like, I hope it doesn't. I'm not trying to be that way. I thought this was going to be fun, kind of game show, like who's getting voted off the island, like Survivor. But I hope it doesn't come across that way, like douchey and like, I don't know, what's good enough for my shelf? That's not what it's meant to be. I don't know why that got a little bit mob bossy, but that's not what it's meant to be. It's genuinely just, hey, these are bottles I haven't drank in a while. Maybe I'll rediscover that I love them, like I did with the Barrel, or maybe it's just not my personal profile, like the Never Say Die. That's kind of my thought, and then you're getting a bunch more reviews of stuff that maybe you haven't heard of, and maybe I've forgotten to talk about. That's kind of where I'm going with this. Puncher's Chance, the Undisputed Single Barrel. This was dumped on 11/16/22. Have I had this bottle for that long? Holy cow. And I remember it's 54% alcohol by volume. I remember really enjoying this, actually. I drank a decent amount of it. There's less in this bottle than I thought there was. But I just haven't found myself talking about it at all. So let's find out. Is this really good and I forgot about it? Or is it just okay and maybe I forgot about it because I've got better stuff on my shelf? I don't know. Let's find out. That is oaky sweet. That has some nice barrel characteristic. It's got a little bit of a candy to it, a nice sweet tart. Not quite as much as the barrel we tasted earlier, but in that same realm. And it's even got a little bit of like a dusty barrel, like a walked into an old barn type scent / taste to it. That is overall very nice. And I actually really like this bottle. And I would keep this. If I bought it, I'd keep it. I'd drink it. There's no doubt in my mind about it. Here's why I'm going to get rid of it. And there's only one reason, really. This is a single barrel, and it was dumped in 2022. So I can't use this to make a video. I can't use this to talk about because it's a single barrel. Like if I recommend this and you buy something else, it might taste totally different. And I also happen to know for a fact that I have a friend who really enjoyed this bottle. I'm going to give it to him. I know he's going to like it. I know he's going to be thrilled about it. And I can't recommend a single barrel that was dumped in 2022 because it's probably gone. Nobody's going to be able to even find it on a shelf. But that being said, if you see a Puncher's Chance Undisputed single barrel, this was really tasty, actually. I looked it up while I was tasting, and it was $55 MSRP. I would put this up with a Rare Breed any day of the week. It's got the same character, same body. Rare Breed might even have a little bit more harshness, if I'm being honest. It's nice and bold, good flavors. All day long, I actually really dig this, but it's not one that I'm going to use to talk about in videos because it is a single barrel, and I know for a fact somebody who's going to be really happy if I give him this bottle. So that's why I'm getting rid of this one, but that's a great bottle. That's really tasty. And if you find the one that is from Rickhouse D, Rick number 615, dumped on 11/16/2022 at 108 proof, highly recommend. I mean, it's really tasty. And I would genuinely think in a blind tasting against Rare Breed, this might do very well, actually. I think it's been a minute since I had Rare Breed. I used it for Test of the Best a couple months ago, but I think, without tasting it again, I think this has a cleaner taste and less of a charred harshness than Rare Breed does. And I love Rare Breed, but that's just my honest opinion. So, really tasty bottle, gonna make somebody very happy. Hugh Hamer straight bourbon whiskey finished in rum barrels, 103 proof, and this was bottled on 11/1/2023. I have had a few bottles from Hugh Hamer, and I actually really enjoyed some of them. One of them I think I finished already because I brought it to a family gathering, actually. It was a family reunion. That's the word I'm looking for. And we drank it and enjoyed it, and it was fantastic. What I can't remember, some rum finishes just taste like nail polish remover to me, and I don't remember if this is one of those or not. So we're going to find out today. Oh, yeah. Immediately, we're keeping this one. I forgot about this. See, I'm really enjoying this episode because I'm reuniting with bottles I forgot about. This is not the type of rum finish that I don't like. This does taste like rum. It tastes a little bit rummy, but it tastes summery. It tastes fruity. There is like an oak and a fruit combined in a weird way that I'm really enjoying. I think this is going to be fantastic in the summertime. I think it'd even be good in like some kind of a tiki cocktail or some kind of a tropical cocktail. So maybe something like that. But yeah, no, Hugh Hamer finished in rum barrels, 103 proof, Bravo. That is quite tasty. I don't even know. I don't think they distill their own stuff, but let's find out. Bottled by West Fork Whiskey in Indianapolis, Indiana. Distilled in Indiana, so I'm going to guess MGP, but I could be totally wrong about that. Very tasty, though. That rum finish adds, on the nose, you get like some cinnamon, a little bit of raisin even, I would say. Definitely like dried fruity. And then on the palate, it's like the cinnamon's there and maybe a touch of raisin, but it's less dried fruity and more fruity. Like it just tastes, it's got a little hint of that Barrell seagrass flavor. I know seagrass is a rye, but I mean like that plummy vibe that seagrass has. It's like that kind of a rum finish, which I love seagrass, if you know me. And this kind of has a little bit of that. I've had other rum finishes where it does come through tasting like rum, but to me it kind of tastes like nail polish remover rum. Like it's just like, ooh, it's a little bit harsh. This is not one of those. This is quite tasty. I don't know if you guys can hear my dog barking, but I feel like I might be getting a UPS package right now. Let's see. UPS is in front of my house, but not at my house, and my dog is flipping out. I don't know if you guys can hear him or not on this microphone. This probably wouldn't pick him up. My YouTube microphone probably would. Anyhow, that distracted me. But no, really tasty bottle. I'm glad I rediscovered it. This is going to go up on a slightly higher shelf. I'm figuring out my shelf organization because it's out of hand. So this series should help me do that. I feel pretty good about 50-50. We're getting rid of 2 of them, and we're parting on good terms with 2 bottles. And there's 2 bottles that I have rediscovered that I actually know for a fact. I want to drink more of these. I want to taste this more. I want to taste that Barrell one more. Those are very tasty bottles. If you've had any of the 4 on this episode, comment down below. Let me know what you think about it. Would you keep it? That sort of a thing. Let me know if you like this style of episode. I really hope it comes across in the right playful way that it was supposed to come across. I'm really bad at saying I'm not going to keep something. And I'm even bad when there's nobody watching. I'm bad just at home when I'm separating things out to give away quietly and not telling anybody about it. I'm still like a hoarder. I'm a modern day hoarder. So this should hopefully help me to not hoard so much, but hopefully it doesn't come across as like, oh, this one's getting the axe. It's definitely meant to be playful, and it's definitely meant to give these brands one last hurrah before I move them off of my shelf to make way for new stuff that's being sent my way, especially the outdated stuff. Okay, well, I can sit and defend it all day long, but you guys get the idea. Thank you for watching this episode. Please subscribe, review, rate, comment, ring notification bell, whatever you can do on the app that you use. If you do it, it will help tremendously. And the best way to support this show is to join the Whiskey Noobs crew, which is down below in the description, hosted on Patreon. We have tiers that are only $3 a month, and it goes up from there. And I appreciate every last one of you in the Whiskey Noobs crew. Thank you guys all for watching. I will leave you with learn to drink, drink to learn.